Here's a video of the white truck that came in, the service body truck. I'll show you this here. This is the fuel head here in the oil canister. You see it's all nasty. This is where the fuel line's coming. This has got a massive leak here. This regulator is leaking right here. This is your fuel pressure regulator. It's all nasty. See that? Been leaking fuel for a long time. It's leaked so much fuel that it's got the top end. I'll show you how dirty this thing is here. That's all fuel. That thing sits right here. Here's the top of the engine. Look how filthy it is in here. When you guys do these 6.0s, you got to wash these up really good. You're going to contaminate the engine with all the crap in here. See the sludge? This is the oil cooler. Looking at here, this is the engine oil cooler. That's the pump. I just done an air pressure test and it's failed. This thing's failed the pressure test, and I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, here's our air pressure tester here. This thing's connected into the actual pump, and it's the fitting from you get them from Accurate Diesel and all those guys. But this is the hose that I made up. This is my gauge. You'll see I'm going to add air here. Now you see the air coming up here. That shouldn't drop when I turn this. You can hear it leaking. It's leaking out of all three of these holes, and we're hoping that it's just the snap to connect fitting under the pump. So I'm going to pull that cover off of there. But watch when I shut it off. See how fast it's dropping? It's got the handle closed here. See how fast it's dropping? It's got a massive leak in this thing. That's why it doesn't have any power. This truck just runs like shit. It's got a bad injector in number 2. You see it falling? It shouldn't drop any once we get done here. So we got to find this leak before we can bulletproof this truck. Now watch, I'll turn the air on. There's the air's on. I got 120 pounds here, and I shut the valve down and disconnect the hose. There's no air going to it, and it's closed. You can hear it leaking if you listen to it. And when it sounds like it's coming out of both heads and this, it's normally a STC fitting, snap to connect fitting, which is right. This is what a snap to connect fitting is. This is a factory one here. It's got an actual O-ring right here, and the new one's solid. This is an old one that's been leaking on another truck. But this was a bad design. It had an O-ring right here, and the O-ring leaks. This is the pressure coming directly off the pump. This is the deadhead pressure from the pump. That's why these trucks have a hard time starting, so forth and so on. This is the major cause. When you do what they call a bulletproof kit, you want to change this no matter what, even if it shows good. If this pressure showed good, I would still be changing it, because it's just a wear out item. It's just the part that fails, and you've got to tear. Well, this one you don't have to tear everything off, like the intake here. This is the intake here. But this guy's truck, he's got a definite fuel leak. This is all fuel here coming on the side here. So we gotta get a seal kit for that fuel filter housing. It's been leaking fuel for a while. He said he smells fuel. But anyways, we're gonna pull this cover off and get this intake out of here in a little bit. So we're gonna show you this video, but that's how we do a test. It should hold pressure in definitely air, because air isn't as thick as oil. Sometimes you guys will get a little bleed off, but not like, I mean, it won't go down below 100. And if it bleeds off real slow after a couple hours, that's not a problem, because you could have because air, like I said, is a lot thinner than oil. And then when you guys start these back up on these power strokes, when you drain all the air out of the heads and everything, it's going to have a hard time starting. So don't put ether in them or none of that crap. I had a guy email me saying that when he gets done, he's going to put ether in. I said, no, it'll start on its own. It's going to take a while to just crank. And you guys talked about priming these with oil. I dump the oil. This would be where your oil filter housing is. I dump the oil in here, which goes into your oil cooler, and then it feeds the pump. So anyways, that's how we do. I bet you guys asked me some questions about testing this thing with the air, and I've made this line up. This is a really heavy duty line, so I can twist it in with my hand from here without using a wrench down there. See, I can unscrew this using this part, and you'll see that it comes out. So we've got to find out where we're actually leaking at here. Now this is a newer style pump. You can still do the same thing with the older pump in the 03 and 04. But when you take the cover off of the early one, it won't be the same as this. And I have a fitting that I'll show you on my next video that you can make. I actually make them. So anyways, this guy's gonna do a bulletproof kit, but we got to find out where he's leaking. Hopefully it's the snap to connect fitting. If it'll hold air, then we'll continue. But if it's the standpipes or the dummy plugs, O3s and O1s usually don't have problems with standpipes. It's dummy plugs. So anyways, this is my fitting here. So I'll show you what the fitting looks like. That's the custom fitting here, solid steel. See, and it doesn't let air back through the return portion. See, in your IPR, I'll show you an IPR here. See, this is the IPR, and you'll see it's got holes in it. So this is a faulty IPR here, but I've heard of guys trying to make them out of this, but you've got the holes here, so it's going to bypass on you. It's hard to do. It's better off just to buy if you're going to do a lot of power stroke work, to buy this fitting from Accurate Diesel or whoever. So anyways, any questions, DuramaxTechGuy@hotmail.com. I appreciate looking.